I know the leagues. I know the teams. I know these players. I know this wonderful game called football.
Welcome to the Money Line presented by Pro Football Debate. As always, just want to start out with a shout out to Bet Openly, the official sportsbook of the Money Line. Week 2 picks are upon us. Let's get right into it. We're coming kind of in the middle of the Minnesota-Philly game. Drakes, anything you want to touch with the Thursday game? Any play that you're sweating or that you already cashed?
Definitely didn't cash anything yet. I saw a bunch of tweets on Hockenson first touchdown scorer, so good for those that had that. I did play Minnesota money line on the up 7 promo on DraftKings, hoping that Minnesota could take a lead. Thought they were going to go up 14-10 at the half, but Justin Jefferson fumbled in the end zone for a touchback. So, not looking great, but hopefully Minnesota somehow prevails and cash that ticket.
Yeah, so with that, I think if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get right into. I have the board set up here. If you want to just start running down the games, give the people what they want, kind of what we're seeing and what we're leaning. And if you're good, I'm good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so first game, we got Chargers at the Titans. We got Chargers favored by 3 and a total of 46.
Yeah, this is a game I don't really care for, to be honest. I felt the Chargers obviously let us down last week. We talked about how the offense could hum, and they put up enough points to win the game. However, defense didn't have an answer for Tyreek Hill. Herbert, ATS in weeks 1 and 2. He's 4-2 overall in his career. I know he lost last week against Miami. Another stat worth noting, I think, is in the time zone, in Eastern time zone, he's 12-5 ATS. Whereas Mountain Standard or Pacific, he's 15-18-1. So leaning the Chargers, as crazy as that sounds, just based on Herbert and the offense there, but still question their defense. On the flip side of Tennessee, Tannehill didn't really do much in the game last week. So against New Orleans, anticipate much of the same all year with the Tennessee offense. So I would lay the 3 points with LA. Where are you standing at?
Yeah, I actually seeing them at minus $1.45 on the money line. That's actually not bad. Still clinging to that, Herbert at 10-1 MVP. You can get it right now. It's closer to like 12-1, obviously, after that loss. But again, I think at minus 145, that's not terrible. Mm-hmm. I lean the Chargers. Tennessee, unless Tannehill comes out and has a coming to Jesus moment, that offense was flat. Henry had a couple big breaks, but nothing to write home about. So I lean the points. However, at minus 145, I'm okay taking the money line there. I see some value. I don't think you're getting too deep into that. Depending what your unit is, you're getting a decent return.
If there's ever a defense for Tennessee to get right against, it's this LA Charger defense for sure.
Right. Okay. So next game we got Green Bay at Atlanta. Okay. We got I'm showing 1.5 here going Atlanta. Atlanta minus 130 on the money line, so they're favored a little bit right there. Where do you see that at?
Yeah, we did see the line move. So I think it opened Green Bay minus 1.5. Now it's flipped to Atlanta as the favorite. I personally like Atlanta in this spot. I feel it's overreaction on Green Bay. They had a great win, not a great win, but a dominant win against the Bears that are probably one of the more inept teams, at least what they showed in week 1. I lean Atlanta. I think their ability to run the football. I anticipate Bijan Robinson is going to get more carries this week than he did last week. I know there are probably some unhappy touchdown prop players that Algier stole those touchdowns from Bijan. So, I'm laying the 1.5 with Atlanta. More comfortable probably on the money line, which you might say, but I like Atlanta in the spot.
Yeah, I don't really have too much of a play there. I don't know what to make. Love looked good, but not against a great team. And it just seems like Green Bay has kind of owned Chicago over the past, I don't know how many years. So I don't want to take any. I mean, it's a good win. Obviously, divisional win on the road is going to be a good win, but I don't want to take anything too much from that. So I don't really have a play. I think I would lean probably Atlanta on the money line. I don't know if I want to lead necessarily points with them. But yeah, I expect Bijan to play pretty decent, settle in. So I agree with you there. But for me, it's a complete stay away in general. So looking ahead here.
Little fun fact. Desmond Ridder has never lost a home game as a starting quarterback in college or the NFL.
Okay, there you go. So cling to that a little bit.
In NFL, it's 2-1 ATS. College football, 17-9 ATS.
Okay. Next game up, we got Indy visiting Houston. Houston -1, -130 on the money line, and we got a total of 39.5.
Yeah, I am staying far away from this game. We talked about the Colts in week 1, the last 15, 20 years. They're 12-8 ATS the last 20 years in week 2, 5-1 ATS since 2017. I felt like the offense moved the ball because of Anthony Richardson, although he got a little banged up late in the fourth quarter. Minshew had to come in. So question, how healthy he's going to be and if he'll be able to finish each game as the season goes on. But this is a game that I need to stay away from. I think the Texans were okay defensively last week against Baltimore. But again, just couldn't move the ball offensively. And I expect maybe a little bit of an uptick in points for Houston this week, but not anywhere comfortable enough to play aside.
Yeah, kind of an interesting trend I found here, though, where probably a stay away just because, again, I'm not a big fan of either of these teams. Just too many unknowns. Nothing I want to put my money on. But Indy is 8-1 against the spread versus Houston in Houston, their last 9. So they're pretty dominant, at least covering when they head out of town. So I mean, I guess if you want to, if you're forcing yourself to play a side there, you can kind of look at that, and that kind of tells you a little bit. Next game here, we are 100% writing this off because we don't touch them. I don't want to touch them. I don't want to deal with them. Detroit, it's down to -4.5. Grit, it's rowdy, the whole thing, the ski masks. Where are you at with that?
So being from Detroit, I think, we have a hard, fast rule that don't wager on or against Detroit teams. I question the line movement. It seems as though, the public is all over Detroit and the lines come down. So that would incline me to take Seattle plus the points. However, you're getting a worse price than you could have gotten earlier in the week. It was 6.5, at least 5.5. Yeah.
I saw hanging around 5.5 for most of the week. Actually, when I just kind of saw today the 4.5, where it's at now. I really like that 5.5 number, to be honest with you. We talk about like being a weird number. But the total has actually dropped 2 points, which we always kind of, we were spot on last week that when the totals are down, the games tend to be a little bit closer. So that's if I had to play, I'm all over Seattle there, even at the 4.5.
Okay.
I don't think Detroit's offense didn't really impress me last week on the Thursday game. And Seattle has some good receivers. If KC doesn't drop some balls there, obviously that's a win on KC's part. So I trust that the receivers should be able to find some space. But again,
Geno Smith, 19-14 and 2 ATS as a dog, much better record as an underdog than a favorite. Goff has good numbers. ATS weeks 1 and 2 in his career. I think he's the most profitable quarterback over the last 5 years in the first 2 weeks of the season. And then, playing at home indoors, he's 16-5 ATS the last 2 seasons, whereas outdoors he's around 500 ATS. So there are many angles with Detroit, but there are equally as many angles, I guess, with Seattle. I gotta stay away personally.
No. Like I said, I lean Seattle, but it's just and it's actually going to be a good game to watch because this might be the loudest that Ford Field's ever been. So it should at least be, if anything, entertaining. Hopefully, it's back and forth like last year. But again, it's not something that I'm going to put my money on. Next game, moving on, we got Bucks off a big win, -2.5 against the Bears. Tampa Bay favorite on the money line, $1.40, and then we got the total sitting at 41.
Yeah. Another stinky game. I feel as though the Bears have to play better than they did last week, but I don't know how much better they have in their arsenal. And Tampa, I don't think they really did too much to beat Minnesota. Minnesota beat themselves. kind of like they're doing tonight. Another fumble for them. I think that's their 4th turnover of the game. Down 20-7 now. Like, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. I did see, you probably saw on social media too, that Baker was able to distinguish what type of defensive scheme Minnesota's going to have.
I saw that.
Called that out. So kudos to him. But that's a game I just got to stay away from. Where are you leaning here?
I actually, I'm inclined to take the Bears. I think it's a good buy low spot.
Okay.
I don't think that they were ever going to contend for the North, but I do think that they can win some ball games. I think this on their schedule is a winnable game. Last year, shake off the rust, but yeah, actually, I'm going to take the Bears here.
Okay. No, more than justifiable.
So after that one, let's see what we got on deck here. We got Raiders at Bills. What are we looking at here? I saw 8.5. I think actually maybe down 7.5 or 8, depending on where you're at. Heavy favor on the money line at 410. Obviously, everybody thinks that the Bills are gonna roll away, and then you have a total at 47. You willing to lay the points here?
I am. I think the Bills will bounce back. Josh Allen had, I think, 4 turnovers last week or Monday night. Off a straight up loss, he's 17-7 straight up, so makes me inclined to play the Bills in Survivor. He's around 500 ATS, which isn't great. And actually being, I don't know, opposite side here, the Raiders, Jimmy G, he is, sorry, lost my notes there, 18-5 ATS as an underdog in his career. So impressive numbers for him, given a kind of smaller sample size, but I like the Bills at home. Probably one of the most rowdy crowds in all of football. It's a game that they have to have, in my opinion. Where you stand on this one?
Yeah, no, I think I'm willing to lay the 8.5. I read an interesting kind of trend here, or stat, whatever you want to call it, I guess. But after was it 3 or 4 turnover game, the Bills are 7-0 in their last 7 against the spread. So we'll go with that one. But I think it's a good spot for a good kind of get right game, if you will. And then you brought it up, so I'm just going to go ahead and I was going to wait till the end, but we'll just talk about it now. Bills for Survivor 2. They literally check every box. It's not the biggest spread on the board. It's not a primetime game. They're at home. It's non-divisional. It's almost the perfect Survivor spot, if you will. So, that's the part where I'm willing to take them even this early and move on. Because, again, I don't see too much on there, and I don't want to lay the biggest spread, which I think right now is sitting at Dallas. We'll get into that. But, I think the Bills go get it done, get right. Allen kind of he's a gamer. He's a competitor. He's got to come out and play well. I think he knows that. And I just think that, Jimmy G kind of be like a game manager. He's not going to be able to make enough plays. I don't care how many times Adam's down there. So, I definitely am willing to lay the points there.
Okay.
So next game we have Kansas City minus the 3 at Jayville. I think we were split on this one. I know we were talking earlier in the week. Did anything change? Are you still on KC?
I'm on KC this week. I expect Kelsey to play, which provides another element to their offense and a comfort for Patrick Mahomes. I feel as though if Kelsey played last week against Detroit, a couple of their field goals that they stalled on the red zone maybe turned into touchdowns. I'm not too impressed with Jacksonville. They turned the ball over a few times. All intents and purposes, shouldn't have covered last week against Indy and could have, with the way they turned the ball over, lost that game outright. So I know KC going on the road, and I'm comfortable laying the 3 there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just play basically 2 angles here. I just think home dog, give me that. And I think KC is a little bit more vulnerable this year. And I'm going to take points. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight. And anytime I think that's going to be a dogfight, obviously in the NFL, I'm going to take points, 10 out of 10 times. So sure. I'm taking Jayville. I know, like I said, we didn't really go up against each other too much last week, but this is one early that we're definitely on different sides here. I know. So should be interesting. Good luck. And then hopefully it just lands at the 3 and we push and everybody goes home winner, right?
Oh, get our money back. Yeah.
All right. Cincy minus 3.5 versus the Ravens.
I'm on Baltimore. I think he might beg to differ. I feel as though divisional game, so divisional dog fits that trend. John Harbaugh, 21-10 ATS between weeks 1 and 2. Lamar is 10-2 ATS as an underdog. I like Baltimore a lot, especially early in the season. They're healthy. Burrow 2-5 ATS weeks 1 and 2. We talked last week them going to Cleveland, how we took the points with Cleveland, just because Cincinnati, for whatever reason, has started slow the past few years. They tend to heat up at the halfway point and carry it into the postseason. But right here, right now, I'm taking the 3.5 with Baltimore.
Okay, yeah, and again, so we'll go back to back where we're going to be a little bit split here. I'm going to go with Cincy. I don't think Lamar did not play well last week, and then maybe again working out the rust off or kicking the cobwebs off. But for the most part, Houston was in that game. So I like Cincy to come out, and Cincy looked terrible too. Don't get me wrong; it's not a defense on them. But last I checked, Humphreys and Andrews still questionable. So kind of without Andrews, that's a big target for Lamar. But yeah, I think Burrow has to come out. He's a competitor. He's gonna put up a big game. So I look for kind of a coming out party for this year to get things right. And I just don't think they want to go down 0-2 in their division this early. I think that's weighing on them. And I'm not even afraid of the hook. Give me the 3.5. I don't care. That's fine. I'm willing to. I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Okay.
So next ouch. Next on the docket, we have Giants and the Cardinals. Let's see here. We are looking at minus 4.5, but looks like 4.5. A total of 39.5. Anything there that you see that you like?
Not really. We talked last week about how the Giants, had a ton of close games last year. They were able to win and prevail. Cardinals ended up hanging around with below average Washington team last week, gave some people some scares when it came to Survivor. The Giants have to play better, right? Like getting embarrassed like that.
You would think, right?
40 Goose, Sunday Night Football at home. Have to think they bounce back, especially against a weak Arizona team. But this is a game that I'm staying away from. Nothing would surprise me with this. I could see the Giants absolutely smoking them, or I could see Arizona winning the game outright.
Yeah, and Arizona, held their own. I think they surprised a lot of people. We talked about Washington being a popular Survivor pick, and a lot of people thought that Washington would absolutely steamroll them. Obviously, not a ton of people are high on Arizona, so I see that angle, but I also see I don't know what the Giants are, obviously because their offense didn't move last week, so who knows what's going on there. But interesting enough, they are 28-14, the Giants, against the spread on the road off of a loss. So they do travel well after an L. I would take Giants there. Yeah, I would take Giants there, dash the points. But again, not playing necessarily as high on my board, but if I'm going to make a play, I'm definitely taking the Giants with the points.
Okay, more than fair.
Yep. All right. So we got San Francisco minus 7.5. We got a total of 45 there. Minus 330 on the money line. Big favorite on the Rams. No faith that the Rams are for real. I think. What are you seeing there?
I hate the hook, but I would probably still lay the points with the Niners in this game. Shanahan seems to have that head-to-head with McVay pretty much figured out. Last year, the Niners went 7-0 ATS versus their division rivals. 49ers are just so solid. They have so many weapons offensively: McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle, Deebo Samuel. I mean, you name it, and they can move the ball. So, and that defense, like the way they shut down Pittsburgh, not that Pittsburgh is an elite offense, but the way that they were able to contain them, hold them back, like most impressive team by far in week 1.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, again, we talked last week about taking the points with the Rams at plus 5.5 against Seattle. McVay owns that head-to-head versus Carroll, similarly to how Shanahan owns that head-to-head versus McVay. So I would lay the 7.5 with San Francisco. There's so many trends that back that. Hopefully we don't disagree on this one too.
No, actually, a couple things. One, San Francisco 14-5 against the spread off a win. So I see a pretty telling stat there. Again, they recover well. Looks like mentally they take care of business. However, with this one, I'm just going to say San Francisco against LA last year, week 4. Yeah, I'm going to ride them against this one right here just because that was a big week for us.
Yeah, so, for sure. with
Go on.
McCaffrey in the lineup, by the way, going back to last year, Niners are
Yep.
13-1 straight up, 11-3 ATS.
Yeah, and for those, obviously, me and you are going to get that, but that was we had going into Monday night. We were everybody was high on LA last year. I think it was week 4 because we cashed our first quarter circuit ticket for the 25,000.
Right.
But yeah, we ended up with San Francisco, and it was just a runaway. It wasn't even close.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm riding them here. So let's go Niners.
Yep. Cool.
Next, we got Dallas minus the 8.5 against the Jets. Not a ton we have to talk about with Dallas, how they played, and then obviously looking at Monday with Wilson and the Rodgers thing.
Yep.
Huge money line favorite. Low total though at 38.
Yeah, I'm taking the points here with the Jets. I think it's overreaction. I know Zach Wilson isn't Aaron Rodgers, but getting 8.5 or 9.5 with that defense in New York, like it's too much. I could see Dallas losing this game outright. They've faltered in worse spots before. I'm not going to play Jets money line, but I'm definitely taking the 8.5. Shop for 9.5. You can get it. It was 9.5 earlier today and earlier in the week. Yeah, I think the Jets cover this game. Just the defense should be able to let them hang. If Zach Wilson can hold on to the football and not, turn it over, then they'll be a live dog for sure.
Yeah, I'm right with you, and I'm just gonna go with the Jets defense is a juggernaut right now.
Yeah.
Playing real well. Obviously kept him in the game last week. Shut down Allen, forced a ton of turnovers. So yeah, you're gonna give me 8.5 on defense that good. I'm gonna take that 10 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Wilson does enough to go out there and at least keep him in the game. And keep that offense off the field. And I have to assume that's the game plan going into it. So I'm 100% on board with you right there on taking the points.
Cool.
Yep. Next we got the Denver Broncos against the Washington Commanders. Denver laying the 3.5. We both align here. I'm on Denver. Give me some reasons.
Yeah. Mile High is always a tough place to play, just with the altitude and stuff. Washington did not look good last week against Arizona. Denver is at least slightly better than Arizona, if not a lot better. The Broncos 9-3 ATS and playing at home again over the last 20 years. Russell Wilson is 4-1 in this spot after a home loss. So I like the Broncos a lot to get right. Week 1 jitters maybe. Playing a divisional opponent last week in Vegas. I feel as though this is a week that they can definitely win, and I'm comfortable laying the 3.5.
Yeah, Hook doesn't scare me here either. I think they win by a touchdown. And pretty much everything you said, I'm right on board there with you. I just think it's a nice spot for them to get right. So let's just pretty easy there. Let's move on here. We got Dolphins minus the 2.5 versus the Patriots.
Yeah, I think New England's pretty banged up on the line. And then Tua looked really, really good last week again against a weak Chargers defense. The Patriots defense did a decent job in containing and neutralizing Hurts and the offense of Philly last week. I don't know. I want to lay the points with Miami. I just don't. It just seems like Belichick will find a way to potentially win this game outright.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna think this one. Give me the Fins. 5-1 against the spread against New England last 3 years. Even when Tom was there, he always had fits against them. You're giving me less than the field goal. I'm taking that 10 out of 10 times. I'm all in on the Fins there, not even thinking twice about it.
Okay.
They've owned or at least kept it close with New England historically. So I don't think anything's gonna change this year, especially with the upgrade offense that they have seen them in the way that those guys played last week. I have to assume that momentum carries over. They go out there, beat Belichick. This is a statement win for the Fins, and definitely puts them on the map that they're for real.
Yeah, some more stats. Mac Jones, he is 3-11 ATS as an underdog, and 0-8 ATS as a dog since the start of last season. So not great for him. Good for you for backing the Dolphins. Good luck.
All right, next up, looks like we have New Orleans -3 Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going to lean division dog here, take the points with Carolina. New Orleans wasn't impressive at all. Again, first game with Derek Carr at quarterback, maybe getting some cobwebs off that offense. Carr was 17-29-1 ATS as a favorite with the Raiders. and I don't anticipate this New Orleans team being much better than the teams he had in Vegas. And then Panthers-wise, I feel like Bryce Young had some moments against Atlanta last week, but I don't know, two kind of crappy teams. I'll take the home dog with the points.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the simple principle. Home dog, primetime, getting points.
Yeah.
Going to keep it nice and easy. I actually like that play. This is Carolina's defense is actually pretty decent. And I don't think that New Orleans offense really showed me anything last week. They only put up 16 points.
Sure.
And a really just ugly game all the way around. So I'm not really high on New Orleans there. Give me a home dog primetime with the points. I think it hit both games last week, so I'm good there.
Okay.
Last game we got here is Cleveland minus the 2.5, total of 39 against the Steelers.
Yeah, I think I'm on Pittsburgh this week. We talked about Tomlin last week, how good he was as an underdog, and then they get smoked by San Francisco, of course. But just to remind everyone, he's 53, 31, and 4 ATS as an underdog. $100 better would be making $2,000 roughly off of playing on him as an underdog. Steelers at home as an underdog, 16-5-3. AFC Northwise, the Browns not great, 6-13 ATS versus AFC North opponents under Kevin Stefanski. Again, I don't know if it's overreaction to the Browns, just beating the crap out of the Bengals last week, and the Steelers getting the crap beat out of them by San Francisco. I think there's overreaction. I'm going to take the home dog here in the divisional game.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. And I think that there probably has to be a serious talk this week and serious, maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Serious look at the offense to get them going. And Cleveland's defense looked great last week. Not going to take anything away from them, but I assume that they got to go out there and have a little bit of a different game plan and have Pickett getting right and do enough to keep the game close. And I'm with you again. Home dog prime time. I'm willing to take that, and I'm going to take points when you're going to give them to me. Especially with Tomlin, we talked about him covering in that 2.5 to 3.5 spot.
Yeah.
He lost last week, so trends say he's due.
Yep.
So take that for what you want. Okay. Other than that, Survivor, I think we kind of touched on. Now I know the Survivor that me and you are in. We can use the team more than once. So I'm okay burning Buffalo this early. Is there maybe any other team you would take where you see some value if you wanted to keep maybe a top 10 team in power rankings in your back pocket, or would you say, hey, kind of survive in advance looking at the board?
Yeah, there are a lot of questionable games. I anticipate the Giants will be a popular pick. Dallas will be a super popular pick. Those are probably the other two outside of Buffalo that make up 90% of all Survivor entries this week. It's, in my opinion, it's kind of survive in advance. Just the way the board is looking right now. Tread lightly with the Giants is my recommendation. They could definitely, like I said earlier, go to Arizona and put a whooping on them, but they're also very vulnerable. Didn't show much last week, so I don't know what to expect out of them going forward.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better right there. It's pretty much summed everything up there. Okay, last week we had a pretty good week. We both turned some winners. Let's give it out there. Where are we at right now? You got anything you want to give to the people?
Yeah, so I think one of my more confident plays is Denver minus 3.5. I also like the Chiefs minus 3, and I also like Atlanta minus 1.
Okay, yep, fair. I'm going to go with the Finns minus the 2.5 for the reasons I talked about just a few plays ago. And then I'm going to stick with that home dog in prime time with I think is kind of an underrated defense here in a divisional game. I'm going to go with Carolina plus a 3 at home.
Nice.
Gonna go with those. Lay one, and then hopefully get some dogs bark on the other one. And it's pretty much all I got. I mean, I'm looking at the board here. Anything stick out to you? Anything you want to talk about, or it's pretty much all I got for this week. Hopefully, like I said, get a few wins and keep the momentum going.
Yeah, that's all we can do. Try to go 4-1, 5-0 in the circuit contest this week, and get back on track for sure.
Yeah. Other than that, we'll have the recap show like usual coming released Wednesday. See how we did. But Fade or Tail as you see fit, and let's have a good week, guys.
Yeah. Later, guys.